Getting things done is not so much about getting things done. It's about being appropriately engaged with your life and your work so that you're totally present with whatever you're doing.
It's not about gaining more time. You don't have more time. Everyone from you to me to or Mark Cuban, Elon Musk, we all have the same amount of time. But it's creating room in your day to get more accomplished. Getting things done. The art of stress-free productivity. This system, while it does take time for you to dedicate yourself to, it takes discipline to follow it. It doesn't take a whole heck of a lot to get going on it. So by going through each of the 5 steps now, we're going to better understand what the GTD system is about. Capture. Capture all your tasks, all your ideas, reminders, and more using the collection tools. So, as we all know, our days are constantly under attack by different competing priorities, different emails, text messages, people walking in on you in the office.
The capture process is absolutely critical, and it's initial. That is, hey, anything that has your attention, anything that is potentially relevant. It's the idea, I might want to, I should, I gotta, or whatever. That you need to capture, and anything that has your attention that you might need to decide or do something about. And that means little things, big things, personal things, professional things. Most people only want to make a to-do list of the most important things and not realizing that if you don't give appropriate attention to the cat food you need, cat food will take up more of your psychic bandwidth than it should. So you need to be equally accountable to yourself to capture the little things, the big things, the anythings. A lot of people make the mistake, most people make the mistake of thinking, in order to capture it, I have to organize it. No, you don't. Just write it down. Just like taking meeting notes. If you're ever in a lecture or you're ever in a meeting and you're just taking notes, that's the capture process.
Don't let it sit in your brain, whether it's, I got to do the laundry, grab cat food, dog food, I got to finish this report, I got a big presentation on Friday. It doesn't matter what it is. Get it out of your brain, get it on paper. That's step 1, capture. So step 2 now, clarify. So empty all your collection tools weekly. So now that we have collection tools in place, again, whatever it is, pen and paper, you got a notepad on your desk, or you have something on your phone. So we have our list. We have to empty it off.
What's the thinking I need to apply and the decisions I need to make about what the nature of this email is, the nature of these meeting notes, the nature of this note I jotted down last night that I can barely even read, but it might have been important. What is that? The first thing is it an actionable item? Is it something that you have any commitment to actually move on or do something about? And there are 3 types of things you don't. One is just trash stuff that's like, that's a dumb idea, or I don't need that email, or now that I've seen it, I don't need it. And then you have stuff that I just need to keep. There's no action on it, and that's reference material. And then you have stuff that you might want to move on, but not right now. And that's the on hold, incubate category. And then if it said, no, there is an action I need to take about this, then a real critical decision is, well, what's the very next action? If it is actionable, what does action look like and where does it happen? What's the very next step you would need to take to get closure or clarity or finality on whatever this thing is? Is that an email to send? Is it a conversation to have with somebody? Is it something to buy at the store? What's the very next physical, visible action? So that needs to be decided about anything that is actionable. But then you have the option of either doing the action. Once you figure out what the action is, you can do it in less than 2 minutes, you should do it right then. If it takes longer than 2 minutes to do it, don't do it right then. Ask yourself, are you the right person to do it? And if not, hand it off to whomever it is. That's a delegate function. And then one other thing you need to answer is, will one action finish whatever this commitment is? If not, you've got a project. Even a very small project, but then you've got 2 things to really clarify about actionable things. Actions and outcomes. What's my desired finish line on this? And what's my very next action? If you've made that decision and then move to step 3 where you park these things in trusted places, then that will get this stuff off your mind. That's how you empty your investments.
This is all a part of understanding the system and all a part of making you more productive. So now that we have emptied all of our collection tools, we need to put them in the right places. David, help us understand the organized stage.
Well, organized just says once you decide what this thing actually is it reference? Is it trash? Is it an on hold? or what this next action is, and I can't do the action right now, where do you park those? Well, you want to park those where you see them at the right time and place. So once you've decided what these things are, if you can't do them right then, you need to park reminders in a place that you trust you'll see. And so I trust if I go out for errands, I'm going to look at this list of these 9 things that I need to do. I may not go do them all, but at least I'm not missing any. And, that's basically it. So it's no big mystery. You don't need a real complex system. You do need a system that will let you put things in the appropriate categories. So it's not a big mystery here. You do need a project list. I've got a list of 25, 30, 35 projects right now that I've got. I have that all on one list. And then all the next actions about all these projects, as well as any single actions, are listed in several lists that I've just over the years discovered work for me. A list of stuff to do at the computer, stuff to do at home, errands to run, stuff to talk to people about, and stuff I'm waiting for to come back from other people. And so you don't need very many, but it is nice once you've sort of clarified what the work is, what these actions are, and what the projects are, that you park those things in appropriate places that some part of you trust you'll see at the right time.
You're dealing with a whole bunch of different tasks. You have a number of emails you need to respond to. You have a couple projects on the go. You have a couple meetings coming up in the next little while that you have to book. How would you then organize all those tasks as part of the GTD system?
Over the years, what was popular about GTD was the idea of creating reminders by context, not some big amorphous list of things that combines errands to run and stuff to buy at the store, as well as things to talk to your spouse about. If you try to put all that on one list, you'll blow a fuse. So given how many actions people have, just creating some sort of a subset of categories that you see the right things at the right time, that's really all you need, and it doesn't have to be very complex. It needs to be as complex as it does, given how complex your life is.
Step 4, which is reflect, reviewing your system frequently.
So if you have a good, compact and intact external brain system, then reviewing that regularly is the one that's going to sort of hardwire your intuitive intelligence to be making good judgment calls, moment to moment. You don't have time to think. You need to have already thought. You need to have already sat down and looked at all this stuff, because the world's going to come at us so fast, so quick. You don't have time to think. You need to have already sort of hardwired internally your priorities and kind of what's going on and seeing your world.
Engage. Selecting what you should do based on situation and priorities. So in this final stage, things actually get done, and you use the 4 criteria that we should consider to help us in selecting what needs to get done.
Well, the best practice of this at this stage is to do all the first 4 best practices. You alluded to that. Make sure you've captured, clarified, organized, and reviewed everything. At that point, your decision about what you do is going to come from a much more trusted place. And here's a big secret, Ryan, and I'll share it with you. Getting things done is not so much about getting things done. It's about being appropriately engaged with your life and your work so that you're totally present with whatever you're doing. That happens to be the most productive state to hit a golf ball from or fire somebody from, is when you're present, when you're totally present. So the whole idea of engage is to engage in a trusted way. Where do you put your attention? Where do you put your activity right now? Because that's the end result of anything, any of all this self-management stuff, is to feel comfortable and confident, Ryan, that you and I talking to each other right now is exactly what we need to do, given all the other options that we have on the planet. Now, there are several factors that go into prioritizing. First of all, what can you do where you are? If your phone's dead because you got no battery, you can't make any calls. So I don't care how important the call is. You might want to go charge your phone or go borrow somebody else's, but you can't do it if you can't do it. So the first limitation is, where are you? The second one is, how much time do you have? You have a commitment in 10 minutes to be somewhere, and you don't want to pick something that's going to take you 20 minutes to do. I don't care how important it is. Pick a 10-minute thing. And then how much energy do you have? Are you fresh or are you toast? Do I do stuff I've already figured out I should do? Do I do stuff that's new, that's coming at me right now, that may be more or less important than whatever I thought I should be doing, and I need to handle that right now? Or do I need to spend time actually doing the GTD process and clarifying the new incoming stuff so that I've got a good inventory? So The threefold nature of work: doing defined work, doing work that's undefined and unplanned as it comes at you, or defining your work, which takes at least an hour a day for the typical professional to just to stay current with incoming email and notes and ideas and thoughts and all that stuff, just to keep your external brain current and to keep it present and to keep it up to date. Then all of those factors come in, and then you have all the 6 horizons of commitments you've got. Why are you on the planet? What's your vision of wild success 5 years from now? What do you need to accomplish in the next 24 months to make that happen? And by the way, what are the things you need to maintain to make sure you got a healthy body and a healthy enterprise? And by the way, what are all the projects you need to finish about all that? And by the way, what are all the action steps you need to take about all that? And those are my 6 horizons. I really identified that we have all these levels of commitment. So it's most people have a much more complex life than they really realize.